Sorry, I had to go get my breakfast smoothie and lots of pills. You want some? Maybe share. Okay. Welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Kat. This is my channel called A Gut Feeling, all about gastroparesis, a stomach disorder that I live with. I know I'm posting this pretty quickly, like right after my other video, but literally just a few days, not even a few days, a couple of days after I made that update video, I had a hospital stay. And talk about being in the hospital for the holidays, which I missed Thanksgiving because I was in the hospital and I was admitted for 2 nights, 3 days, just about. So let's get into it. So before anybody gets worried or scared, I do have a pretty bad cough, but I do not have COVID. They did test me and it came back negative. We were really worried that I had corona because besides a sudden onset of really severe asthma, I was having cold symptoms as well. I had a headache, my nose was runny, I was congested, my throat was sore. I didn't have a fever or chills, so that was the only thing that was like in the back of my mind, like, oh my god, if I get that, it's definitely COVID. And I was starting to wheeze a lot and cough. Throughout the night, it started to progress a little bit more. I needed to use nebulizer, I needed to use my inhaler quite a bit. Then Wednesday came, and it got even worse. You know, I was doing a nebulizer treatment for 15 minutes and then afterwards you could still hear this horrible wheezing, crackling sound. Wednesday at 3 in the morning, this is like the 10th time I've woken up. I woke up every single hour pretty much not being able to breathe. So I finally told my boyfriend, hey, I think I need to go to the hospital. This is pretty serious and I'm not getting control of it and I'm just getting worried. You know, and I was scared that I had COVID and I didn't want to give it to him or my mom who live in the house with me. So I actually packed a bag. Usually I don't even have time to pack a bag. I just go right to the hospital and then I'm in uncomfy clothes, but I packed a bag with everything that I usually take when I'm at a hospital and I knew I was going to be admitted. So then we get up to the hospital and it takes them a little while to take my vitals and all that, and this entire time I'm having such a hard time breathing. So they get me back into triage, and this is the hospital that my mom actually works at, so that's kind of nice. So I know she's there in the hospital. I was texting her this entire time. As of right now, everyone is treating me as if I potentially have COVID. So I'm closed in the room. They won't even let my mom in. She has to ask permission to come in first, which I'll put a little tiny clip here for you guys. Well, it's kind of funny, but it's also just like a really sinking reality for some people, and it's just really isolating. So we immediately started me on breathing treatments. They gave me steroids, prednisone, through an IV. They did a chest x-ray right there in the triage room, which I've never done before, but because I potentially had COVID, I couldn't, you know, just leave the room or anything. And then they did do the COVID test up both nose, which was pretty uncomfortable. So my mom only stayed for, you know, maybe a few minutes just to check on me, make sure everything was okay, and so I could update her a little bit, and then she went back to work. And then I was finally admitted, almost 6 in the morning at that time. Everyone is like dressed to the nine, all my nurses, everyone. They have these, I don't know the actual term for those masks, but they're the ones that look like Vader masks, or like really big. Little yellow jacket things, gloves, all of that. Couldn't leave anything in the room, like no medication could be left in the room. They couldn't bring the computer into the room to ask me those interview questions, so my nurse had to call me on the phone. So it was just very different. They were very safe, obviously, but just very different. The COVID testing took almost 6 to 8 hours to get back, and it was supposed to be a rapid test, but the courier or whoever, I don't know, it took a very long time, longer than I expected. Finally, when we found out that I was negative for COVID, all of my doctors, all of my nurses were so excited to come in, and like they were like, did you hear you're negative for COVID? And we were all like, you know, woohoo, yay, so happy. But besides not having COVID, I was still having some pretty severe wheezing, and the chest x-ray actually showed that I had fluid in both of my lungs at the bottom of it, which is why I was wheezing so bad, which is this, you know, I have phlegm, I have all of this mucus all in my lungs. So we continued with nebulizer treatments and my steroids, and I was admitted for severe persistent asthma with exacerbation, along with pulmonary aspergillosis, which I spoke about in my last video. Basically, straight up, it's severe persistent asthma with exacerbation. And I believe it was set off by a cold that I got because, like I said, I had runny nose and everything. All of the doctors were really great, very nice. Respiratory therapists were really nice. All of my nurses were great, so that is literally a blessing. Some people don't realize how much of a blessing it is to get nurses and doctors that actually listen and care. They also put me on some Mucinex so it would help me get this mucus up, which is why, sorry, but I've been coughing a lot in this video. It's finally like actually coming up so I can get it out. The really sad thing though is, like, while I'm in the hospital, as a lot of you may or may not know, if you've been here for a while, you do know that I use medical marijuana to help combat my gastroparesis symptoms. And some people might say, well, no wonder you're having severe asthma. Actually, I have smoked for quite a long time, and I didn't start having all of these asthma, like serious asthma issues, until after 2016 when I had something called a pneumomediastinum. I'm not saying that, you know, it doesn't contribute to the inflammation, because I'm sure it does. I'm just saying it's not what is really setting me off continuously. It seems every 2 years I have a severe asthma exacerbation ever since 2016. So I unfortunately lost weight, and that's really upsetting to me. If any of you do have gastroparesis or have a chronic illness and struggle with the weight loss side of it, just be very scary. You know, for years I was under 100 pounds, and finally, after I had my feeding tube for a year and on certain medications, I was finally up to 120 pounds. I had lost some weight before the hospital stay. I was actually down to 104, unfortunately, due to flare-ups here and there, and just gastroparesis in general. It's unpredictable and it's uncontrollable. I had been doing better, I had been eating a lot more, and yet I'm still losing weight. So I get into the hospital where I can't smoke. You cannot be prescribed Marinol, which is a synthetic form of THC anyway, which I don't know if I'd want to take, but I know they only give it to certain patients that are in like kidney failure or who have cancer. Or I would take my Zofran that they would give me, but eating without smoking is almost impossible for me now. I tried broth, I tried just apple juice, pears, you know, but that's not giving me nutrients, it's not keeping my weight on. So I'm actually down to 97 pounds again, especially when I like look at my body, and it's hard. Because I worked really hard to get my weight above 100 and keep it there, and I know 97 isn't like, you know, it's only 3 pounds under 100, but it just sucks when you have tried so hard and you do all you can to keep yourself healthy and to keep yourself over a specific weight, and you just watch it drop and drop and drop, and you get the fear of, what if I need a feeding tube again? And you know, that's a reality of mine that I might have to deal with, but I didn't think it would be soon. I know I shouldn't think about that right now because it hasn't happened, it's not happening, we're not even discussing it yet, it's just there in the back of your mind, and it's just scary. And yeah, being in this hospital stay, especially during the holidays, it's just really sad. You know, being in the hospital anyways is isolating, especially during a pandemic, especially during the holidays. So we ended up having to cancel Thanksgiving. Not that we were gonna have a whole bunch of people over anyway, obviously, because there's a virus, but we were gonna have, you know, some of the immediate family over. My mom got a 24-pound turkey. That's as big as Ellie, my dog. I had to go stay in the hospital, and my mom and my boyfriend, you know, had their own like little turkey dinner or whatever, and it was kind of nice because at the hospital at least they tried. They did have turkey dinner, if that's what you want to call it. Just shout out to Crystal and RJ, all of you, honestly, Crystal, RJ, Laura, Kristen, like all of you, honestly, you guys were just so great and treated me so well, made me laugh and smile. They ended up having to put a heart monitor on me as well, because when you know, are taking a lot of prednisone, it can make your heart race. It really messes with my anxiety, and then the asthma too can make your heart race, and they just need to make sure that you're staying within a normal range. So I had those to take off at the end of the day, and that was not fun. Don't know if you guys have ever had to experience that. Another thing that I remember staying in the hospital for a whole week and not having this issue, but when I was there for just 2 nights, I was having horrible leg and butt pains. Like it was sore, but I had gotten up throughout the day and stretched and moved around, and I don't know, you guys just ever need to get up and do some yoga. And I know a lot of like people who are staying in hospitals can't even stand up like that. Actually, the last hospital stay I had, the one that I'm talking about for a whole week, I couldn't even stand up by myself. I had to have someone help me because my asthma was so bad at that point. That was when I had to have a machine basically breathe for me. That was really scary. I actually have a video of that if you're interested in watching that. That was actually right before the holidays too, but I got out before Christmas, so that was lucky. But yeah, I'm so used to having visitors. I have a lot of great friends that live right in the area, but because of COVID, even once I was cleared, it just doesn't feel safe to have a bunch of people coming in, and the hospital doesn't let that anyways. You can have 1 visitor per person per day if you don't have COVID. But for now, I have an appointment with my GI coming up. I need to make an appointment with my pulmonologist again. And I also have to make an appointment with a new primary care physician. And now I'm taking really high doses of prednisone. And I have a whole video on how horrible prednisone is too, and a lot of you will agree. There are so many side effects with it, but the biggest one is I am so anxious. So incredibly anxious, and I am on nothing to help my anxiety in the first place. So you add on all of these steroids that I'm taking, you know, I am shaking. You know, I'm not doing that on purpose. That's like my actual hand. I want to cry, I want to scream, all at the same time. I literally feel like I want to jump out of my own skin. On top of that, yeah, I'm having a lot of stomach cramps lately. I'm having trouble with my appetite. It's just like, it's once one thing happens, it definitely affects my stomach, or vice versa, all of that. So it's just, it wasn't a fun time. Hospital stays are never fun, especially during the holidays, especially during a pandemic. I'm doing a lot better. I'm home now. I'm doing my own treatments, and I will have my doctor appointments coming up soon to update you guys, to let you know how everything is going, and to just make sure that I'm still on the right path to recovery. Thank you guys so much for checking in with me. Thank you for the messages that some of you have sent to keep me going and keep me sane during these times, and especially while I was in the hospital. You know, all you can do is just sit there and think and ruminate and feel sad and isolated. I hope you all had a good holidays yourself. Whether that was, you know, having to stay home by yourself, or having a Zoomsgiving or Skypesgiving, however you celebrate it. You know, my heart does go out to those who weren't able to be with their family, their loved ones, their friends, and that's a lot of us, the majority of us. The holidays are already hard for a lot of people anyway. It can be a very, very sad season, and adding in this isolation, adding in these changes where we can't be with people that usually do lift us up, it's just very difficult. So I understand, and if I haven't gotten to messages that you guys have sent me, I'm so sorry. Before the hospital stay, school's been a bit hectic. My finals are coming up. There's a lot going on, all right? So just bear with me, and I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope you all stay home, stay healthy, stay safe as possible, you and your family and your loved ones. All right, thanks, and I will catch you guys in the next vlog. All right, bye.